This is the I Heart My Life show.
Hey, it's Emily here. I wanted to jump on and share this solo episode with you today. And I'm so excited to bring you all this information, share some updates, and talk to you a little bit about what we have going on behind the scenes at I Heart My Life and why I've been moving things forward quicker than ever before. Okay, so we're going to dive into all of that today and talk about why it matters for you and your success and your next level as well, because obviously that's why we're here. We're here to support you in creating a life that's better than your dreams. So, my first update for all of you is that we have redone our iHeart Money program. And so, you might have heard a little bit about this if you've been following me on social media or reading the emails. I've redone this program, or I am in the process of redoing it after 7 or so years. So we launched this program back in 2018 and haven't redone it since then. And what I realized in going through that course was that although it's my most popular course, I've had over 1,000 students go through it. I knew that there was more to that program that I wanted to add in. And I also wanted to refresh it because I'm personally not the same coach. I don't have the same experience that I had 7 years ago. I have much, much more. And in fact, I have a much more diverse experience when it comes to money mindset because of everything I've been through over the last 3 years in particular, with basically having a huge business crisis, losing $250,000 when I was newly pregnant, selling our house, moving back to our hometown of my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, just having to deal with a lot of the highs and lows that come with running a business. And I wanted to bring some of that content and some of that skill set and knowledge that I've now acquired into that program to support people in an even different capacity with all of that experience under my belt. And, for those of you who don't take courses or don't learn from coaches, you're obviously here listening to this, which I so appreciate. But I want to remind you that one of the reasons why I sign up with different coaches and different educators is because they have the life experience that I don't. They have the skill set that I don't. And oftentimes, when we're trying to do this on our own, it's the slow path to the result that we are craving. And so I share that again, just as a reminder that if you want to fast track your results, just like I always like to, this program in particular is such an incredible opportunity to do so. And I'm running it live now. So all the calls are going to be updated. Like I said, all the materials updated. And if you missed the live round, you can jump into the self-study version. And so you can still get all the updated modules, all the incredible content. And like I said, I feel like we've taken this to a whole nother level. I've had somebody audit it. We're really adding in some new content. We have a nervous system specialist, Georgie Shears. Excuse me, Georgie was on the podcast a few months ago. She's coming in and doing some extra trainings because it's really important that you're able to hold another level of wealth from a nervous system perspective. So we're just making this completely amazing, to be honest with you. And that's one of the updates I wanted to share. The other piece of the puzzle that I'm so excited to share is that we are actually launching an iHeart Money certification coming up this summer. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this is why I wanted to talk to you today on the podcast and why I'm taking a whole episode to bring you this content. Okay. So before I get into the why, I want to talk to you a little bit about how this came to be and why I feel like this is so urgent at this time in the world and in our lives. Okay. So, again, as you probably know, I've had a long relationship with money mindset work. It's one of my biggest passions. And the course is incredible, the program's incredible, but I felt called to bring this to the world in a different way. And so for me, I've seen how money mindset has transformed my own life. I've seen how it's transformed the lives of my clients, not just people who utilize it in their own business, but who start to talk to their own clients about it or their own sales teams about it or even their families about it. I've seen wives go through my programs and then all of a sudden, their husbands start to transform and their money mindset has shifted and a whole new level of freedom opens up to them as a couple. And so I've seen firsthand the power of this work. And I know for me, one of my greatest joys is experiencing those shifts that people have on a regular basis as they go through this material. But about a year or so ago, I started to look at, okay, how can I bring this money mindset work to a whole nother audience, to a whole nother community? And what would it look like to potentially license the material so that other people can utilize it in their business or again with their teams, whatever it may be, in whatever capacity they desire. So I started to look into that. But one of the things that didn't feel right for me at the time was basically allowing people to utilize my content, but not giving them any sort of training around that. That didn't feel good to me because I've been doing this for 10 years. I've developed a really unique way of coaching in this capacity. Oftentimes, as I'll share a little bit in a second, what happens with this material is it ends up being more masculine, for lack of a better phrase. And so it's more about financial planning and some of the metrics and some of those processes, and less about the deep internal work that's really intuition based. It's really, like I said, important to bring in the nervous system. It's more whole in terms of the way that I do this work versus having it be so cerebral. And so my fear was that people were going to take this material and not know how to properly teach it or use it in their business or with their clients. So moved through that and ultimately came to realize that there's no one teaching money mindset in a certification program in the way that I'm being called to teach it. Okay. And this was a really exciting realization. And we're actually going to roll out another certification that's more around success and mindset coaching, which is in our specific I Heart My Life framework. However, I felt called to start with the money mindset certification because, like I said, no one is teaching it in this way. And what I find when I work with clients in this capacity is that truly their whole world changes. And it's not just about the money mindset piece. Like I said, we go deeper and we unlock blocks that they didn't know that they had. We unlock things that have been holding them back in terms of their relationship with their family and generational programming. We unlock their desires, what it is that they really want for their life. They start to experience more freedom literally in every area. Their relationships transform. They have less anxiety, less nervousness, less depression, less heaviness in life overall. They actually start to feel excited about their life and showing up in their business or in their career. And so, again, I'm not exaggerating when I say that literally everything transforms. And so, what I realized over the last few months is that I need to bring this to the world in an even bigger way. It's one thing to, be business to consumer and sell I Heart Money to incredible clients, but it's a whole nother thing to really support people in understanding how to teach this, how to bring it into their business, and ultimately add an additional revenue stream to their company, which will obviously provide them with greater abundance and more support in living out their mission. And so that's, really the big announcement today is that we're rolling out the iHeart Money certification where you get to become a trained money mindset coach under iHeart My Life. You get to be featured on the actual website as one of our certified coaches. And I just think that's really amazing. I think it's going to be so incredible, and we're going to be able to support so many people and reach so many more lives and businesses and organizations than we would if it was just me, teaching this course and that was it. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you today as a special announcement. And if you're thinking, you're already listening to this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I want to know more, you can go to iheartmylife.com/certifications and you'll be able to see more information. So depending on when you go there, it's either going to be a waiting list or you'll be able to apply for one of our workshops or to learn more. So you'll see all the information there. You can obviously email us at info@iheartmylife.com. But I wanted to give you that inside scoop first and foremost, because we're going to start the certification. It kicks off on July 30th. So coming up very soon. Okay. So why does this matter right now? One of the things that I see in our community, obviously in the world, is a lot of fear around the economy, a lot of fear around spending money, a lot of fear around making the right decision, a lot of fear around what the future holds. And rightly so. We're in very odd times. A lot of us are still recovering from things like the pandemic. I know for me, there was a lot of trauma around my own business crisis that I had to work through and learn how to process. And so there's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes and in our lives over the last few years. And so I totally get it. But one of the things that I really reprogrammed for myself was a belief that we are all abundant and we all have the capability of tapping into abundance at any given time. Okay. And I'm not going to go super deep into that, but one of the things that I think is so important and paramount to us releasing this certification and doing the money mindset work at I Heart My Life is supporting people in not living in fear anymore and being able to tap into their desires and what they really want for their life, regardless of external circumstances. And it could be that the economy turns around and there's no fear there and we're all excited about what's to come, but within your family life people are still negative, have a negative relationship with money, threaten to kind of derail your dreams, don't believe in what it is that you want to do. And that's something that you have to process. So, regardless of what's going on externally, there might be something happening with you internally or with your family unit that causes you a lot of pressure, a lot of pain, a lot of um, scarcity thinking that is currently holding you back. So regardless of the situation, this is something I want to put out into the world because I know so many people are living from a place of fear, and when that happens, it not only affects us, but it affects our kids. If we're showing up with fear based thinking, or we don't believe that money is available for us, or we deny our desires and operate from a place of, I'll just be realistic about, what's to come instead of going for what I really want, then that gets passed down to our children. And as a relatively new mom, this is so, so important for me to consider with every decision that I make. And I know that that can feel like a lot of pressure, but for me, I've shifted that to have it feel like inspiring, right? I get to do things differently so that my daughter doesn't have the same limiting beliefs, the same hangups, the same issues that I had growing up that have held me back. Now, of course, no one's going to be perfect. All of us are going to make mistakes with our kids. But if I have the chance to transform her thinking around money, and not just money, but around what she wants for her life, what she sees as possible, how much of a difference will that make in the world? Okay. And if I can support more than just my daughter in that, if I can support more than just my clients, but help people take this information and go and use it with their clients and their organizations and their families, what ripple effect will that have? That's going to start to have a huge impact in the world. And that's what I'm really thinking about here with every decision that I'm making. And the truth is, we don't have to buy into all of the propaganda around what's going on in the world. We all know that there are people making millions of dollars despite the quote recession that we're in or almost in. We know that there are people who are still living an abundant life. We know that there are people who have made and built businesses even in the darkest times. We know that there are people out there who are still thriving. And yet many of us are choosing to believe in the lack and the scarcity. And my mission is to support you in not buying into that and choosing to write your own reality. And that starts with having an abundant and unlimited mindset. And most people growing up are not taught how to cultivate that and how to have it. And that's what I'm looking to change. And so I want you to consider for yourself, what is your current frame of mind? What is your current everyday thinking? Not just around money, but about life in general. Are you showing up with a positive spirit? Are you showing up with an abundant frame of mind? Are you showing up with a glass half full or overflowing mindset and mentality? And if not, what is it that's causing you to be depressed, feel anxious, to feel negative about the future, or even your current reality? Okay. And I think the world's wounds are deeper than we realize. And it takes people thinking in a different way to make a huge change. And the reality is, many of us come from family members, grandparents who thought a certain way about money and abundance in life. And that was designed, that was their reality because of what they experienced growing up, whether it was the war, whatever it may be. But then that was passed down, and so it's our opportunity to rewrite that program and to think differently about life, what's available for us, and what's to come. Okay. So the ripple effect of this money work is not just about the bank account, it's about something so much greater. Okay. And I really want to reiterate that now is the most important time for us to make a big shift. And that's why I'm putting this money mindset work out into the world. And we're actually going to be hosting a 2-day workshop all about this material. So again, go to iheartmylife.com/certifications to learn more. But I want to again just emphasize how powerful it's going to be for you to be trained in this methodology and be able to utilize it in whatever capacity is aligned for you, whether it's your business, your coaching practice, consulting practice, whether you're a real estate agent and you have a sales team, whether you're a brokerage, you have a sales team, whether you just want to utilize it and have the skill set to use as a CEO with your current team, or you want to use it in your family or with your spouse or with your kids and just have this skill set to be able to bring to the table and make a huge impact regardless of the circumstances. This is going to be so, so powerful for you in terms of impacting the world. Obviously, there's another way to impact your circumstances through this work, and that's through your sales. And that was really the first impact that I saw in my business, was an uptick dramatically in my sales when I started to do money mindset work. And I know that when women in particular make more money, the world transforms. We're able to give more, we're able to give back to charities, we're able to feel autonomous when it comes to our finances and not have to rely on somebody else. We're able to provide more for our kids, give them better education, give them better choices. I grew up with a financially successful dad, and I was blessed with so many amazing opportunities, and I'm so grateful. I want that for my daughter as well, and much, much more. I want not just the things, but I want more choice for her. I want her to be able to start a business at 16 if she wants. I want her to be able to have whatever schooling we decide is the right fit for her. I want her to be able to travel the world and experience different cultures. And that requires funds, right? It requires money. And so think about, for your own life, how would things start to transform with your clients if you had this skill set under your belt? If you were able to know exactly what to say if somebody got on the phone with you and said, I'd love to, but I can't afford it, right? Which is exactly what happened to me when I had a period of 54 no's in a row at the beginning of building my business and I had no idea what to say. What would happen if you had that skill set and you didn't have to guess as to what to do and what to say? I think everything would shift. And that's what shifted for me too. I started to be able to come to those coaching calls, not even questioning what I would say in those moments, and with an abundant frame of mind and belief that everyone was capable of finding the money if they really wanted to. That was my story. I found the money for the things I wanted to do, even when it meant borrowing from my husband, who at the time wasn't making that much money himself, putting something on a credit card, finding a business loan, finding someone to help invest in my dreams. And I started to believe and reframe my limiting beliefs that everyone could find the money for what they wanted as well. And so think about your own sales conversations and even things, not even getting on the phone with people, but putting a reel out there, putting a post out there, sending an email. How often do you feel bad and not want to be too salesy? How often are you holding yourself back from the true impact that you were born to make? That's what this work is about. And so I want to again support you in having the skill set to move through all of that so you can create that ripple effect around money that you were born to support. Okay. And then the other piece of the puzzle, of course, is to support you with more revenue in your business. And one of the amazing things about this certification is that it actually includes the licensing element. So you get to take my iHeart Money program and utilize it in your business. That means you get to take it, bring it in as a one-on-one opportunity or a workshop or a group program, or even speak on money mindset when you are booked at your next speaking gig. You get to bring all of that into your company and use it to create revenue. So again, this comes back to my main mission of really empowering women to make huge shifts in the world and to be financially capable, financially sound in terms of their mindset and the way that they think about money, financially confident, financially abundant, so that we truly can change the world. So I hope this is landing for you and you're seeing the importance of this. I know I'm going on and on and on about this, but if we really think about this, money has the power to truly change the world, and we can either use that for good or use that for, something negative. And oftentimes when I talk about this topic, people think, well, doesn't wanting a lot of money make me greedy? What are people going to think if I have a lot of money? And in my experience, money makes you more of who you already are. And so if you are financially abundant, think about what you could do with that wealth. If you're a generous person already, you'd be more generous, right? If you are someone who likes to impact the world through your business, you'd be able to grow your business faster and reach more people. If you want to be able to give back to your family or your parents or your kids, you'd be able to do that to a higher degree. And that's what this is truly about. It's not just about us making more money just for ourselves. It's about that ripple effect that I know you and I both care about deeply. I want to help all of us to break those patterns around scarcity because we are teaching that to our kids. If we don't rewrite the story, we're going to pass that on. And our children deserve better. Our children deserve better ways of thinking about money versus money doesn't grow on trees or just be grateful for what you have. They deserve better. And we don't need to pass down that scarcity programming any longer. And the final thing I want to talk about is what makes a great money mindset coach. Now, first and foremost, you don't actually have to have a coaching business to be able to be certified. You have to have the desire to help people transform their money mindset. And so you might already be a coach, you might already be a consultant, but like I mentioned previously, you might have a different type of business. Maybe you're a real estate agent, maybe you're a brokerage, maybe you want to help your sales team with transforming their money mindset so they step into more of an abundant frame of mind. Maybe you're in charge of hiring and you want to be able to tell who has an abundant mindset before you bring them on your team. Funny story, I was literally just hiring for an executive assistant. And one of the people that I was going to be interviewing, she had the same last name to my previous orthodontist. And I was chatting with her and I said, oh, so funny, are you related to this doctor? And she said, oh, no, I'm not, but maybe I should call them and they'd give me a discount for having the same last name. And I thought that that was so interesting that that was the first thing that came out of her mind was getting dental work for cheaper because she had the same last name as this orthodontist I mentioned. And for me, that was a huge red flag. Like if someone is out there always looking for a deal, and that's the first thing that comes to mind in a conversation like that, they're not the right fit for me. And so this is something again that you can utilize when you're bringing people on board into your life, into your space, and you want to know if they're going to be the right fit. Or maybe you want to utilize this to help train your team to a greater degree. Okay. So, and again, if you're not a coach, not a consultant, but this is calling you, explore it. See how you can start the business of your dreams by certifying as a money mindset coach. We even have a whole other program called iHeart Coaching that will help you to develop your coaching business if you're brand new as a coach or consultant. Okay. So you don't even have to worry about that. You can just purchase that as well. And then you'll have both and you'll be able to hit the ground running. So think about whether this work would impact the work that you're doing today or your mission. And if so, then it may be the right fit for you. So this is an opportunity that, like I said, is coming up really quickly. We're going to kick off on July 30th. You also get access to my full iHeart Money course. And we have the certification over the span of 8 weeks. And so if you're interested in learning more and you're listening to this, again, go to iheartmylife.com/certifications or email us at info@iheartmylife.com because then we can send you the whole information pack and you can see whether this is the right fit for you. Now, again, you might not want to be just a money mindset coach. Might want to bring this into your business as an additional revenue stream. Maybe you're a business coach and you know that your sales would dramatically increase if you had this skill set. Maybe you just want the skill set, or maybe you want to sell it as a whole other revenue stream. Doesn't matter. But just again, think about how this could impact your work, impact your bottom line, and ultimately help you transform more lives and have a greater impact in the world. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us directly. All right, as I mentioned, we're going to be hosting a 2-day workshop coming up. So make sure you've gone and gotten on the waiting list or gone to iheartmylife.com/certifications to learn more. You can even DM me on Instagram. I'm super passionate about this and I want to get it into the hands of as many people as possible but want to make sure that whoever joins this first round of the certification is also the right fit and someone committed to making a big change in the world, changes like I just described on this episode. So I hope you're so excited about this. I know I am. I can see the power that this is going to have, the impact that it's going to create. And if you want to be a part of this mission, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you more about the certification, give you all the information, and see if it's the right next step for you. All right. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the I Heart My Life show. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends or post about it on social media using the hashtag I Heart My Life show. And don't forget to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us spread the movement far and wide. Remember, everything you desire is possible. Keep believing in your dreams and taking action.